Welcome back to the Brown Brothers Pod, episode number 6. The World Cup's done. Now it's time to focus on other things. Soon coming up is the Premier League, the second half of the season of Formula One after the summer break. A lot of things to look forward to, but this podcast is going to be a little different. This podcast is not going to be about sports, but it's going to be about the two people hosting this podcast. And if some of you don't know this, but we are actually brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Alan's about 11 years younger than me, and we've always had fun conversations about sports, about every single rivalry, competitiveness when it comes to daily activities, whether it's who gets to the fridge first, who finishes their food, the silliest of things. But we've been thinking and pondering for a while on having something like this and hosting a podcast. But we really didn't feel like it was the right time. There were a lot of things happening in our lives. And then we just said, hey, you know what? Let's do it. World Cup time. What better time to talk about our favorite sport? Maybe that's one of the questions that we should ask each other. Um, so yes, this episode is going to be all about introducing ourselves so that all the viewers, all our followers get to know a little more about us. So on that note, let's go and into segment number one.
Yeah, it's weird. I never thought I would start a podcast with my brother, especially when we were kids, because we used to fight a lot, like a lot. I remember when we used to even sleep in the same room, and I used to keep kicking you. And when you used to not sleep because you would have to put me to sleep, and then you have to leave because you have to go meet your friends. And it's funny, like over years, as we both grew older, I think we had this bond through, even though like it's been almost what 15 years since you have not been in India. I think the bond has been built over like sports and gaming. We played a lot of games together during COVID. The entire clan was there, and we were playing Call of Duty, FIFA. I think that kind of kept us always like strong and close together. So I think it's funny. Like when you look back, it's like I never thought that we would ever do this, but I'm happy we ended up doing this. We ended up starting this.
I mean, that's one of the cool things that we can either finish each other's sentences or stop and banter at each other at all times just because we have that sibling rapport that we have with each other. And there'll be times where we'll cut and each other off and, troll each other, but it's all in love. And going off what you said, it's funny because even though we live across the world, the fact that we be in touch almost on a regular, maybe about sports or life, or maybe just not talking about life and only playing video games and just chatting online. And
Yeah.
through that, we built a big community of friends who are still in touch with us and, are let's say, like, I would call them close friends. So, yeah, it's
I
been a
also
fun journey.
remember whenever we are together and when we are in like a group situation, they always like everyone just laughing and they're like y'all both whenever y'all are together, there's always like chaos, everyone just laughing. So, I remember like even if you're just out like with family, I remember mom's like, oh my god, y'all both are together now again. It's gonna be just laughter. Y'all laugh so loud, y'all sneeze so loud. Everything is the same. Like during COVID, because we both got COVID, we ended up just like locking ourselves in like one room, just eating food, playing games together, laughing, just doing everything together. And while like our mother just like made us a really nice, good hot food, and we used to just eat it. It was good
Yeah,
memories.
yeah, fun times.
So I guess the first question I would ask is, what was like a specific moment you think you were like, okay, we start this podcast, and like, what do you think even like the viewer should take away?
To be honest with you, I think when we have our conversations, which turns into debates, that turns into facts, that turns into jokes, and it turns into petty back and forth, and realizing it's just so funny that anybody who hears us doesn't know if they're talking to a rival, an enemy, or a brother, or who you're talking to on the other side. I think it just made for such an organically fun conversation, but also like, learning more about the sport or being able to enjoy it to a whole different level. And then we've appeared on a couple of friends' conversations and a podcast too. So when we had that dynamic, we could see that the conversations that we would bounce off each other and
Just
some of the
flows.
funny moments that we've had in those conversations too. It was
Yeah,
something we said, we are not necessarily doing it for fame. We are doing it for memories and for some of our friends and family who enjoy our dynamic and being able to hear us speak and stuff. And since we started this conversation, getting our dad involved and everything, lots of comments have been coming in, not just from the fam group, but like anybody who I meet kind of has a conversation, whether it be work, whether it be church, whether it be any group of friends that I'm playing football with or wherever. They're just like, listen, man, this pod is so funny. I hear the pod on Spotify, like on my way to work sometimes, and I just crack up laughing and listening to you guys. And like, my wife is not a big fan of sports, but she's listened to the pod a couple of times and said it's educated her on a couple of aspects of both Formula One and football. So it's being fun, and that's why we are doing the pod, so that people who don't know the sport can understand the sport and take interest in it, but also at the same time, just to have some fun and conversations and enjoy each other's company and just talk about life.
yeah. I think growing up, we both were like super competitive. I think a lot of my personality is just based on like, oh, I'm going to beat you at this. I think with whether it's like FIFA, whether it's gaming, whether it's like even bowling or like anything. I remember we always are like super competitive, and a lot of things I'm really good at is because like I remember uh I was just really competitive. Like my goal was always to like defeat you in FIFA, and now I'm like just so good. Like literally everyone's like, "You're so good at FIFA." I'm like, it wasn't like I was trying to be good at FIFA or anything. It was just like I was like, my goal is to defeat my brother. And I think years and years of practice, we got to like a point where I was even winning tournaments and stuff. So
That's
it's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you say that because FIFA has been such a game that we played like with so many different groups of friends and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
always fun to have FIFA nights. I just recently had a FIFA night with the boys and stuff, and it's just fun. Just you have yourself a fun time. And I don't think I'm the best player in the group, but it's I always have a fun game, and it's always attacking and it's always scoring goals and doing something silly or stupid or like it's always a fun time to bond with sports, and especially FIFA. I think that's one game that's been consistent through
Yeah.
our playing lives, the entire like our entire journey of gaming, I would say.
Yeah. I Let's go to the next segment. I have a few questions for you. I want to know what was the most infuriating thing about me while growing up.
Whoa, man. I think you briefly touched on it, but I feel like my teenage childhood was stolen away from me because I was given the responsibility of putting you to sleep. And only after I put you to bed, I can leave the house. And for like months and years, I think I ended up falling asleep, but you did not. And I ended up not going out. So, like, there's a big phase of my life where I think I was just the ultimate brother babysitter
Yeah.
who fell asleep, and you were staying awake. And I remember mom saying once or a couple of times, like, you were putting him to sleep and you fell asleep, and like he's outside in the living room. What were you doing? I'm like,
Yeah.
I passed out, I slept, and like I would tell my friends that, and I would be like, man, this younger brother thing is not working out for you really well.
Not only put me to sleep, but I also used to wake you up to drop me to school at like 5:30 in the morning.
That was another thing. Like I already like consistent. Like I would be woken up at like an ungodly hour, and like I guess I didn't know what the future held for me because I just wake up at an ungodly hour now because of work.
Just
But like
practice.
I know I feel like you did because there were the like okay. I know it's infuriating, but at the same time, one of my core memories with you is
7 minutes.
7 minutes from it's funny that you remember it from our house in Andheri.
Yeah,
to R, I think,
yeah. To
and
school, yeah.
we were driving. My goodness, I think that's
Yeah,
probably
8.5 kilometers in the BMW in 7 minutes. I remember that.
that was a wild, wild drive. I still remember. And you know what? Now that I look back at it, picking you up or dropping you to school was so annoying at that time. But it's such
Yeah,
a core memory, like to have your
yeah.
brother pick you up from school or like, drop you and like, you never really went or traveled in the bus from what I remember.
Not in
And like,
school.
yeah,
I oh
so
no,
then,
I did early on in school, but like school bus, not like
yeah,
public buses.
yeah, yeah. Then like I remember mom waking me up, oh, you have to drop Alan to school, or like the school bus did not show up or something, and you got to drop him, or he's late. You got to wake up and just drive. And I would be like, seriously, like I like my eyes are barely open, but like okay, let's go,
Yeah,
let's go, and we're doing this, and
yeah,
like driving like Fast and the Furious in the morning.
yeah, yeah.
There's
I
a fun
remember
time.
that day I was late and I reached early, like
Yeah,
before time.
7 minutes, man, unheard of.
Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I can't put a point. I think you're pretty stubborn. That's the most infuriating thing about you. If you made up your mind on certain things, but I think that's our entire family. So
Who do you think is more competitive?
I don't know. See, I'm going to say this, but people who know me and who are around me right now, they'll say impossible because I'm still competitive. But I feel like I've calmed down now. Like I can take a loss. I can be gracious in defeat. I can lose and not phase me as much as it used to. So I would say right now, if you ask me, I think you're more competitive. But I think you asked me this question 5 years ago or maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I would say we're
You're
more
just used to
competitive.
taking the L.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. On the other side, what would be like your favorite memory of us together?
Favorite memory of us together. Man, there's so many. I think I can't point out at one memory, but I can say like vacations together has been like
Yeah.
probably the highlight of like since childhood. I would say every time we go out or travel or anything that we do together is just always fun.
Yeah. Every vacation has a story, I feel. Every single
Yeah,
vacation we
I
have.
don't think it needs to be like a fancy international travel. It could be like a drive to a 1 hour drive or 2 hour drive, or it could
Blasting
be
EDM.
yeah, yeah, or you could watch concerts, or we could travel to Europe, or we could travel to Turkey or Mexico or whatever. Like it's not the fancy trips, but even just us together makes any place fun. So I would say, I would not say any specific memory, but just traveling. I think together we definitely have a dynamic when we travel together and doing things and like just having fun.
You're being very diplomatic. I think it's you need to share some more details because I can otherwise share some details from some of the trips we have had. We can talk about a lot of stuff when we went to Turkey and you almost broke a marriage because the lady was you didn't know you were part of a dance group that was about an engagement. We can talk about seeing each other on the cruise on different decks with two different girls. Sorry, Mama Tada.
Listen, I'm married now. It's all those things are behind me, man. I don't know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
Turkey, I
okay.
have no idea what you're talking.
Okay. But yeah, we have like a lot of memories, like even just like going. But I think one thing, at least for me, is like our childhood dream to go for Swedish House Mafia together has to be like at least top two for me because it's like something we grew up with as kids and like
Yeah,
a bond also of EDM. And then they broke up, they came back, they were doing like a tour. You just out of nowhere booked two tickets, not knowing I would even make it.
yeah,
I somehow made it and we ended up going for the show and it was like amazing.
yeah, yeah. That was definitely a definite. Like, I think we both are like major EDM fans, and I think you got that EDM bug because of me when you were a kid.
I still remember Tony IG on your MacBook is what got me into EDM.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that. dream of us listening to our favorite artist, have watching, booking a concert in Canada. And like, I had no idea that you would be able to come. I just booked 2 tickets. And like, there could be nobody who I would ask, but like, to watch that or attend that concert was with you. And it's kind of, gotta say, so Megan is jealous about another thing. Whenever I say I want to watch a Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge, if anybody asks me who would I want to go with in
Yeah.
the entire world, I would say you. Because we've shared that passion. We know that that would probably be the best day of our lives in certain aspects, of course. But I was like, yeah. So she's like, oh, what about me? Like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. That is something which is still on the bucket list.
On the bucket list. We're gonna make
Yeah.
it, go to London and
Yeah.
watch our favorite team.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
I think even we have so many memories now. When I think about it, we have like what do you call cliff diving at the lake. So many campfires by a lake in Canada. So many road trips, cruises, Turkey, Mexico. While we just like basically we had a routine of like waking up in Mexico, going to like the sports pool, spending our entire day there, going to play football, playing beach, what is it, water volleyball, and
yeah,
then eventually like getting out at night, and then we both were so tanned by the end of it.
yeah.
Made so many
I
new
mean, you
friends.
have memories from like Europe, South Africa. Remember, I don't know if you were to remember that Maldives.
Yeah, Maldives as well. Going scuba diving.
Yeah,
I think, to be honest, my first memory, honestly, like if I have to remember something, the first memory I have of us together is at South Africa, waiting for mom and dad while they went through they were going through like this gold digging site exploration, and then you
uh,
and me went and got ice cream. And I think I got mint and you got something else, and I didn't like it, and you were like, okay, you can have mine, and you had my mint ice cream, and that was like the first core memory I think I remember of us.
that's funny. I don't think I ever knew that. That's funny. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how you were the first person to carry me?
Well, why don't you? Maybe you can ask me first. What do I do? Who am I?
Who are you? Uh, I guess we can go into like introducing us.
That was supposed to be the start.
What? Yeah, I can edit it.
Yeah, yeah, no, no.
Uh,
You can ask and then I can say.
okay. No, it's sports fandom, professional background. Okay. Okay. What? Who are you? Who are you and what do you do? I guess.
So I.
Okay, wait. I'll ask properly.
That's okay.
I think for the next segment we can go into like, okay, who are we? What do we do? So I guess firstly, do you want to introduce like fully what do you do and how we came about this whole podcast?
My name is Alvin Malcolm Kunder. I have a middle name which my mom gave me along with my first name, and my last name is for my dad. My parents gave me, I think,
My parents? Our parents.
well, I forget they're your parents too. You came 10 years later, so memory is a little vague. But yeah, I'm a civil engineer by profession. I currently work as a site superintendent slash project manager in construction, working on like heavy civil infrastructure jobs, built everything from highways, LRT, rail tracks, rail infrastructure, be civil, residential throughout my entire career. I've been in Canada since 2012. So it's been 14 years since I moved here. And before that, I lived predominantly in Bombay. It's been a journey. That's pretty much I would like to say a little about me. How about you? You wanna introduce yourself, your name, badge number, and what do you
Yeah,
do?
yeah. My name's Alan Isaac Kundar, same middle name given by my parents. I also go by Saturday underscore 32 as my gaming name. Follow on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I stream a lot over there. Um, but yeah, I think I work in the gaming industry. I'm a senior level designer at Ubisoft. Just finished working on Assassin's Creed Black Flag Racing. That's why we did the giveaway. And again, it's funny because I can literally go back and like kind of pinpoint at a point where I got into gaming because of you, because you used to play games and got the PS3. You are the person who bought me the PS3, the PS4, and the PS5. Also the PSP, the PS4 Pro, like all my gaming consoles, like you ended up buying for me. Yeah, I guess it just didn't go to waste. I ended up getting into the industry. I studied for it, and yeah, now I'm getting to work on some of the games which we like as kids like played and we grew up to. So it's a pretty cool feeling and a good story, to be honest. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I wish you stayed in Vancouver or in Canada after you finished your education, but you got a great job in Ubisoft for a person of your age to get that opportunity and to be part of uh, Prince of Persia, which is
Yeah,
the first probably computer game I've ever played in my entire life,
yeah,
and then part of Assassin's Creed. Man, that's crazy. And like for me, it's like ironical and funny, and it's crazy because all the time we would play games and mom would say, why are you wasting your time? You're not gonna build a career out of this, you're gonna waste your time, blah blah blah. And
yeah,
long behold, you are now in the gaming industry.
yeah,
Like it's for me as a brother, it's such a proud moment because it's like you had no support, you had no background, you didn't have any kind of. I don't think there were anybody around us who were in the gaming industry, and now to see you be part of such a amazing company and amazing enterprise, to be part of so many amazing games and Assassin's Creed and the cool stories. I don't know if we can reveal too much, but like the fact that you worked on Assassin's Creed and you
yeah,
were one of the developers who actually traveled to Mexico, Tulum, and
yeah,
take pictures and video which we were on vacation and then
yeah,
integrate to the game. And so you have some actual footage, and maybe I can share this because a little tribute to me,
yeah,
you put me into the game. There's a little character in Assassin's Creed named Alvin. So if anybody plays Assassin's Creed, go find me in the game. But yeah, it's so cool to see that. Like I think that for me is, if you ask me what is the most proudest thing that I feel, is to see you doing so well in the gaming industry and pursuing your dream, and which makes me happy. And then just to know that all these people or anybody who said, "Oh, what is gaming gonna do for you?" It's your profession now. It's so cool. Through this, we've met so many people who are game designers or developers in FIFA, and we know a friend who works with GT.
yeah.
We have a friend who's actually working on with Rockstar and working on GTA 6 and stuff. Like those are the things that our childhood dreams and memories were built out of. So it's those are some core memories.
Yeah, it's now when I think about it, it's actually pretty funny. Like I started gaming, and also I remember you even got the Nintendo 64, which was like the
Yeah,
first console we had. And
yeah.
if you had not got those consoles, I would have not played games. I would have never got into the gaming industry. And I guess unknowingly or subconsciously, in this game, literally, like you said, we got the opportunity to go to Mexico. We booked a trip to go to Tulum, got to actually take screenshots and like make it as accurate as possible in the game. And it's funny, like early on when we were like really on, I think first or second week, and they had asked me like, can you make a quest for the game? And the first quest I made was regarding you with your name on it. And I made this guy, you have to go pickpocket, and he's like this bravado guy who's walking around and like kind of talking about how big he is and how he has contacts and stuff, just jabbing at you, and you can kill him or you can pickpocket him. What?
Based on a true life story.
True life story, yeah. So it's funny like how our lives are like somehow like mix match. Everything happened for a reason, leading us to where we are right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. Do you want to transition into number two?
Yes, yes. Let's go about sports. Let's talk about some sports. We have a big reason why we started this podcast was because of the multiple sports we consume and we follow and we are fans of.
Okay. So while we enter this sports, let's start with what's your favorite sport? If there's one sport, only one sport that you have to choose and watch for the rest of your life and enjoy only one sport, what
To
would you pick?
watch, I think easily football. I don't think there's anything even close. I think watching football has been like core memory. That's also something like core memory of us going to like the Chelsea fan clubs and like singing those chants, meeting all these people, taking all our friends to watch the matches are like such core memories when we were in Mumbai. So definitely
Yeah,
football.
yeah. I would say that at a point of my life, if I had to answer that question, it would be Formula One, which is not very common for somebody who grew up in Bombay. But I just had a passion and love for cars since I was a kid. So I would say Formula One was a big part of my life. Watching uh, during their glory years in Formula One, watching Michael Schumacher, watching Ayrton Senna is probably one of the best weekends I would watch Formula One, and it was at odd times and stuff like that way, but I would be like very dedicated to watching Formula One. Yeah, I think. But now, of course, if you ask me, it's definitely over the time, it's definitely been football is number one. Football is life.
Football is life. Do you want to talk about your F1 story of how you ended up going and watching a Formula One race?
Yeah, so basically there was this opportunity. We were traveling through Europe with a group of people, and we had an option. Keep in mind, I was a teenage kid, and an option to go to a nude beach or go to watch the Monaco Formula One Grand Prix. And guess what I picked? Formula
Formula
One.
One.
We had no tickets. We had no, like, we were just happened to be on the weekend as part of that trip, which was purely coincidental. And there was a group of guys from Hyderabad and from Madras who said like they're crazy fanatic fans, and some of them had like done some amateur and like professional racing too at that point of time. And they said, listen, we got to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. And of course, it happened to coincide with, Schumacher and Eddie Irvine were racing for Ferrari that year, and I went to watch the Grand Prix. And one of those crazy moments where of course, the tickets were sold out. We were waiting outside, and a couple of people who did not understand what was happening were so frustrated and just saw me. And I was like, "Oh, are you leaving?" And they handed two sets of tickets for like right in front of the pit lane to me, and I got access to
Crazy.
watch the Monaco Grand Prix. And I actually, before we entered the Grand Prix, there was a Mercedes parked outside. And I have a picture that's probably one of my favorite pictures, me wearing like a Daffy Duck shirt, I think, with a backpack. And like my dad was like, you can go closer and like, touch the car. And I was not supposed to do that because apparently there was a live engine in that car or something like that. But yeah, it was a crazy, crazy, crazy memory to be watching and witnessing my first ever Formula One Grand Prix, that too a Monaco Grand Prix,
Big deal.
and like watching Ferrari finish one and two and stuff.
Uh,
It was, to be honest with you, that moment in my life maybe made me feel like I wanted to become a Formula One racer. I think there was a phase of my life where I went through a phase where like I had to choose if I wanted to continue working in studying in civil engineering or construction, or pursue Formula One, or pursue racing professionally. And those people who we met on that trip, I stayed in touch with. And they had organized a couple of or they knew people who had organized some karting for international level, and you would get sent to like Formula One academies and stuff that way. And I had the opportunity to go for that because I had good race bikes and go karts and stuff. And then mom said no, and I was like, "There's no future." So I decided to stop
make the road for the
pursuing that.
cars instead.
Yeah, yeah. But from that group of people, there were two Formula One drivers that eventually made it to Formula One, which was Narayan Karthikeyan and Karun Chandok. So it's kind of cool to think that, I mean, this is the amount of money, the amount of sponsorships, the amount of like now Formula One is a rich man's game, like, or a rich person's sport. Like there's no way you're getting there unless you have like insane amount of talent like Lewis Hamilton, who made it against all odds, or like Kimi, to be honest with you, he's pretty young, but he's got the opportunity and he's had sponsorships too. But like to not have any background, not have any financial support, and from a country that hasn't had too many Formula One drivers or something previously, it's definitely quite challenging and quite the steep expectation to reach the pinnacle of motorsport, which is Formula One. Yeah, it's a dream that has always been in my heart. So I enjoy driving other people fast. My Formula One dream right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's weird. I was just while you were saying that, I was also thinking about how you gave up your dream uh to be a Formula One driver, to become civil engineer, and how you ended up building a service apartment in Bangalore with my name on it, which is very funny.
The dedication, talent, heritage. It's I think if there was any other profession I had to choose other than Formula One, I think it would be construction or civil engineering because it's been a passion of mine seeing a dad in the field and just being able to see getting a certain sense of satisfaction when you build something and people use or live or drive on it for years. I think people get annoyed whenever I drive by a specific spot. I'm like, I built this highway or
Yeah.
oh, I road or yeah, I helped build this train tracks through this specific area or station. So it's I guess it's the life of living with a civil engineer. Okay, to our favorite segment of every pod, quick fire round. Last time it was me, so this time, Alan, you get the opportunity. No thinking, first answer that comes to your mind. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Hamilton or Verstappen or Michael Schumacher?
Michael Schumacher, that's not even a question. Undefeated.
Coffee or tea?
People who know me, they know if there's one addiction I have is that I'm addicted to coffee. I need caffeine. I need my coffee in the morning.
One word answers, please.
Okay.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl, definitely.
Pizza or burgers?
Ooh, I'll say now burgers.
Beach or mountains?
I'm tired of the beach, so I'll go mountain.
Favorite movie?
There are two at the top. I think there's Your Name by Makoto Shinkai, and then there's Inception by Christopher Nolan.
Dream vacation?
Again, I think either Chelsea, Stamford Bridge, London, or Japan. I think Japan has always been like a number one spot. Also, honorable mention is Holstadt in Austria, something which I've always wanted to go.
Nice. If you could meet one athlete, who would it be? Any, dead or alive?
Ooh, uh, that's an interesting question. I never thought about it. Eden Hazard.
Nice.
Would love to meet him. It would be so much fun. Just playing FIFA with him and like chilling would be so much fun.
Yeah, he seems like a fun person.
Yeah.
If you could play one sport professionally and be good at it, and it's
But it could be
not,
anything.
it cannot be football.
Football. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and like actually get good at it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
would be good at it. So if
Okay.
you would be an athlete,
You know what? I love playing squash. So if I could, I would love to play squash more.
wow, I didn't expect that answer. Again, I guess that's because of influence with me playing
Yep,
squash.
yep. Again, squash with you.
Okay, are you ready for these three questions?
What are
There are
these three
four left.
questions?
Mom or dad, brother or future wife,
Brother. Because I have future wife still.
Chelsea winning the Champions League or attending your child's birth.
What?
Imagine you were your wife daughter's birth
Okay, that's too
and
much. I
Chelsea's
think
going to win the Champions League.
I
You
can't. I
have
guess
the opportunity to go to the stadium and enjoy that moment. What would you do?
no. Child's birth, man. Child's birth. What's wrong with you? What do you think? Am my father?
You would become a father. Okay.
Definitely
This,
childbirth.
yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
Imagine I'm like peace.
I think I have one more, but I'm gonna say it.
What is it? I can cut it off.
Indian or Asians.
I would like the record to say Indians.
Okay, that actually concludes segment number 5.
Okay, let's head to our final segment. Again, few questions for you. I guess who would be your dream guest? And I'll make it dead or alive.
Dream guest. My wife is dancing in the background, but I think I would go Michael Schumacher.
Where would you want to see like this podcast kind of grow into? We spoke about having like 10 episodes per season. We have few more episodes left before the end of the season. So what do you think where we should go with this for the end of the season, and what we can do maybe for the next season? And maybe we can also ask people and give us guidance on what they want to see.
Well, we had a couple of questions from our followers, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Which we answered
we
already.
answered. Yeah,
But we should do a definite future segment where people, if you have any questions that you would like answered, leave them in the comments
yeah.
on the pod or on any of our reels, and we'll make sure that we may compile a list together and answer them. What was your question again?
Where would you see like the podcast kind of go
Oh,
in the
the
next
pod.
year?
We,
Like
I
already,
don't know. I
I've
don't.
had like a lot of people come up to me and be like, "Hey, I want to be on the pod." There are a bunch of friends from office who want to be like, "Let's rate the best looking Premier League players." The girls wanted to do that, so maybe we can do that. I think Dad loves his time of fame. Maybe we do that like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that's where I see the pod going. I see this pod as something fun, something casual, bringing people together. I think that's one of the main things that we want to do, and have a light, like fun time having conversations about our favorite clubs that we support. I've reached out to a couple of my friends too, and they are excited to probably join us on the pod. Maybe one of the next pods before the Premier League starts, we can bring a couple of fans, and similar to the World Cup, we'll do a prediction of who do you think is going to win the Premier League, who's going to
Yeah,
win the league, who's going to be a flop, who's going to be the best transfer of the season. And then, we can review it at the end of the season and see who was right and who was wrong.
yeah,
So, and that's something we can look forward to. And yeah, it's the same thing. A lot of friends of mine who I've interacted with want to join the pod or, have an opportunity to say their piece about their club. And we are hardcore Chelsea fans, but we have a bunch of friends who are supporting different clubs. So it'll be fun to have those conversations.
yeah.
So yeah, I see this pod kind of, you know, having the opportunity. Anybody who would like to join us, even from the comments or watching us, feel free to shoot us a comment. We can have a conversation with you guys. And if you guys fit you know, the dynamic, we'll get you guys on the pod.
Yeah, I think it's about like eventually building a community of like people who kind of like the similar interests as us, right? So it'll be fun. My favorite I would love to have our dad versus Modi on the podcast. I think that would be the best. It would be the best
Reason
time ever.
to see the students have one. None of this can go on the pod. Modi versus Amrit.
Yeah, it's like, Aj, the nation wants to know.
Cockroach
अच्छे दिन
party.
कभी आएंगे?
Okay. North Korea or South Korea.
South Korea, K-pop.
And on that bombshell,
안녕하세요.
the
See you.
episode is to an end. Ciao. See you in the next one.